movie as a child actor like?
Well, the thing about Poltergeist, people say, weren't you scared when you were doing it? And the thing is, the thing was completely shot out of order, and all the special effects were added later on. So, it was actually, we had no idea what we were actually screaming at. Like Toby Hooper would be moving the stick across the screen for our eye line. And we asked him, I said, Toby, like, what are we screaming at here? What are we scared of? And he said, we don't know, but it's the scariest thing you can possibly think of. So we were basically we were acting because we had no idea what the ghosts were look like or any of the things. A lot of the effects were practical, and those are the things we could really act off.
Yeah.
It would have been really embarrassing if it had to have been like a ham sandwich or something.
Yeah. They tricked us into saying, and it's all a comedy. Poltergeist was actually a comedy. They didn't even tell us that. Like, that's why you really have to trust your director.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's amazing, actually. I mean, considering the time period, the special, because back then a lot of the special effects were still kind of physical, manifestations of things. Like, so you would actually have some type of rubber or kind of Muppety prop that would be in place. So to put just look at the stick or the ping pong ball and start screaming is quite intriguing. I didn't realize they were going that far back then.
And it was actually, I think in a lot of ways it was better because now everything is CGI. And let's face it, the reality is the audience, what they're thinking is going to be far scarier than anything they can actually come up with. And you had to be very creative. Like in Jaws or Poltergeist, you barely see the monster. You barely see the shark. It's just there. It's kind of like it peppers the scene. You're really relying upon the performance, and what you're not seeing is so much more powerful.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Oh, I mean, what was that M. Night Shyamalan movie? What was his first one? Was it Circles or something like that?
No, what was it?
With Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix. Signs, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I thought that was the scariest thing until all of a sudden I saw aliens and I was like, what the fuck? Aliens! and then it just totally lost its fear factor.
It's true. It's like if you don't see them, what you don't see is going to be far scarier. And once you see it, it's like it's never going to be what you actually imagine it to be. Yeah. So your imagination is going to be far scarier than anything they can come up with.
Well, you know what movie? Even though some people hate it, does a good job of that. Actually, Cloverfield.
Yeah.
I love Cloverfield. I mean, you just have to get ready to be a little nauseous. You have that sloppy cam for the entire movie, but the filmmaking is really good and it feels very realistic.
Oh, agreed. And you don't see a lot of the actual monster. A lot of the footage is close calls and stuff like that until you hit the kind of mid to 3/4 way mark, and it's building suspense around something terrible happening. I think it was really well done in that movie. Even though, you're right, it's shaky cam.
Yeah, and what I like about it is you really get to know the characters long before the monsters show up. So you actually, you're into the feeling of the characters, the emotion, and the relationships, and then you're committed. A lot of films jump way too fast into that, so it has a slow burn, which I really like.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I really love the unseen horror of things. I can't do the sloppy camera work. I end up walking out with a migraine, and I remember with Blair Witch was one of those movies that I walked out so sick feeling, and that was just because of the camera.
Man, Blair Witch did such a good job. Like, I remember, there were so many people that thought it was real. Like, you remember when it first came out?
I had two friends that I went with that truly got freaked out by that. And I'd never seen it at that point, yeah.
Yeah, and I'd heard about it.
I think one of the best things about that film was one of the first found footage kind of movies was the campaign. Because you thought, no matter how bad the movie was, if this is real, it gets you into the whole story completely. Right? You're not just looking at some fictional plot.
Yeah. Yep.
I thought that was really well done. The marketing was really good, and in fact, like, when I saw it, I was like, this could be real. Like, I don't know. And I was younger at the time. Like, I'm thinking maybe 12, 13. I was always a horror buff, though. My whole family watches horror movies. So, but I remember thinking it could have been real for sure. And then I saw the girl that plays Heather on, I think it was Leno, and then I was like, oh, hey, it's not real.
Holy shit. Survived.
You're 5. So.
I don't know. I think that's Poltergeist is still one of my inherent fear of clowns. I mean, I can't sleep. Clown will eat me.
I always feel good about that. You know, everyone tells me that I terrify them for life. And, you know, if nothing else in my life, I can say I made the people scared of clowns or continue that fear. I feel like I really accomplished something with my time on Earth.
Yeah, I mean, and between that scene and it is probably why I don't like clowns. Horrible, vicious creatures. No. Ugh.
Tony, did you watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
I have, and I mean, I'm sorry. The only people who put on, in my world, who put on a makeup and wigs and crazy clothes are pedophiles. So, no. No. Clowns, but yeah, they're right on the same page for me. No.
There's something inherently scary about clowns. There really is. I think that's what happened. This babysitter I had used to dress up as a clown and terrorize me, and that's how I got. No, I'm kidding. That never happened.
What the fuck?
This sounds like a fucking nightmare.
I know. It sounds good. I was gonna go with that.
Yeah.
How'd you get the gig? Like, how'd you get the Poltergeist gig?
You know, it's funny. I was doing commercials at the time, and there was an open call at the studio, and my mom asked me, said, you know, it's an open call is where anyone, the general public, anyone can audition. Because normally the way an audition works is your agent has to send you on the audition. Yeah. So we went on this open call, and I went on the line for like 2 hours, and they saw me. They asked me a couple questions, and they asked me, he says, what are you afraid of? And I said, I'm afraid of trees. And I told them I'm afraid of the clown doll. I basically said everything my character's afraid of. And I thought, okay, that was a great little interview. It literally took 5 minutes. I walk away. I get get a call back, and they want to see me again. And this time, I actually have to read lines, and I go through the lines, and lo and behold, you know, they like what I did, but they have me scream, and I can't scream at all. I'm the worst possible screamer, and that's a panic. And the director, Toby Hooper, says, you know, the secret to good horror, Oliver, is the scream. And I'm like, I don't. And I told Mom, I said, I want to get this part. I don't know what to do. So believe it or not, there's people in Los Angeles that specialize in helping actors learn how to scream. I didn't know that. That's like their only skill.
I didn't know that. That's great.
No, I didn't know that either. But I learned there. So I went to this quote unquote scream expert when I was a kid, and they said, this is what you want to do, and this is how you're supposed to scream. And I did. I came back for another audition, and I was like the expert screamer now. And they said, you know what, you got the part, and that's the story of how I got Poltergeist.
That's awesome, man. That's cool. Did you land like I had only seen like your movie and bio and stuff like that, but did you land any smaller commercials prior to that?
Before I had basically done like maybe 2 commercials. My first commercial was actually this fertilizer commercial, and my dad actually wrote the movie Stand By Me, Ray Guinean. Okay. At the time, you know, and like a lot of actors at the time or writers, and to pay your bills, sometimes you do commercials. And he also wrote Starman, and he was talking about that on set when he was talking about Starman, this interesting script he was working on. So that was my first experience, you know, with acting. So I basically went from a fertilizer commercial to Poltergeist, literally.
Which was not shit, which was great.
Yeah.
You know, you definitely did. I mean, it's still about burying things, but yeah.
That's amazing, man.
So,
right on.
Yeah, it was a great. I had a great time child acting. It was such a great experience for me. And I hear about all these stories that, you know, kids are molested, and it's so awful and terrible. And I think because my parents were so protective and watching out for me, I never had any of those kind of experiences.
That's good, you know. And then
positive experience. Yeah.
Were your parents pretty cool about, you know, just allowing you to? It sounds like you kind of wanted to try out the Poltergeist role, and it doesn't sound like you were. They were just supportive.
Yeah, they never wanted me to actually be an actor. You know, at first, I really had to convince them to even put me into a commercial workshop class when I was a kid. I never had a child, a parent who was forcing me to do it. On the other hand, they really didn't want me to do it, and I was like, I was really adamant that I really wanted to act. And they said, the moment you're not having fun, Oliver, the moment you don't want to do this anymore, we're going to pull the cord, and you don't have to do it. You know.
Okay.
And they're extremely supportive too. My mom, And my mom and my parents really had lives of their own at that point. So for me to do this, they really kind of had to make a sacrifice. Both my parents worked. So it had to be something that I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's
Right
great,
on.
man.
Well, let's jump into the second part of our show, and Matty G is going to do our rapid fire questions.
Okay. I'm ready.
Alrighty. And for the listeners at home who are just joining us today, Matty G will ask Oliver 20 quick questions, and Oliver will just give us the first thing that comes to his mind.
Rapid fire questions.
All right.
I'm ready.
Let's roll, Matty.
All right, let's. Favorite movie of all time?
I would say Sullivan's Travels.
Favorite Marvel character?
I would say Captain America.
Favorite food?
Sushi.
Favorite book?
I would say, let's see, A Christmas Carol.
Favorite DC character?
I would say Batman.
Favorite song right now?
I would say, what's my favorite song? Like nothing's coming to mind. I don't know. I look all metrics. Let me just put that in. And you're in Canada too, so metrics Canadian.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Name a role you'd love to have.
I would say I played the father in the remake of Poltergeist that I direct.
Yeah, I love that answer.
And
Yeah.
we have our own vision of that too, so that's why I think I'd love to do that. It might be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's got to happen.
Well, yeah. Let's hope your next movie just blows up and that gets funded immediately.
I hope. Yep, we'll cross our fingers.
Yep. Beer, Scotch, or wine?
I'm wine.
PC or Mac?
I'm a Mac guy. I will admit, I'm addicted. I'm in the Mac. I'm a Mac universe kind of person.
All right. Poutine or fish and chips?
What's the question?
Have you ever had poutine before?
No. What is poutine? What is that?
Okay, so it's fries
I'm
covered
missing
in
out.
cheese curd and gravy.
I'll go with fish and chips on that one.
Okay, all right.
You don't know what you're missing.
I know, but I know. And admittedly, I haven't tried it, so I'm
It's a
foodie.
Canadian
I'm willing to
thing.
go with it.
iPhone or Android?
Once again, I'm addicted to Apple products. They've got me, so I'm iPhone.
Perfect.
All right. Metallica or AC/DC?
I would say, I'm torn. I think both. Both are beautiful in their own kind of way.
Cool.
All right. Handshake or fist bump?
On the old days, I would do a handshake, and I will go back to the handshake. But now we're doing the fist bump. Or actually, I don't think we even do the fist
Or
bump.
maybe even just 6 meters away.
Yeah. Now we just like
Air high five.
Yeah.
Now we just improv it. Now we just wave from like feet apart.
Yeah.
Weirdest secret talent?
What is that? I can cook my own food. And in my world, all my friends are like amazed by that I can actually cook. And that's like, that I actually can produce food and it doesn't get burned and it's actually edible. So that's like my
Edible food.
skill.
I love it. Worst fear?
I would say, darkness. I mean, just literally the dark, because it's like something, you never know what's going on in there. That's like my worst fear, just being in complete, utter blackness.
Okay.
Boxers or briefs?
You know what? I go commando.
Right
on.
That's my little secret out there. I don't know. I won't go into why that all happened, but I'm a commando kind of guy.
And last but not least, what's the favorite podcast you've been on in the last 12 hours?
Yours, but without a doubt.
Right on.
That's it. Yay.
Excellent. Well, we're getting to that point where we're going to wrap things up. Do you want to tell us or let our listeners know where they can either see you or get in touch with you via social media or anything like that you'd like to pitch?
Yes, you can. This is another one of my shameless pitches. You can reach me on Facebook and just type in Oliver Robbins, and I add everyone. I'm not up to 5,000 people yet, so just add me. And then, I'm on Twitter too. I don't Twitter enough out there, or Twitter or whatever. But I'm Ollie Guy on Twit.
Okay.
And this is my other shameless promotion. I produce these things called key tags, which is basically like a keychain, and they're based on pop culture, like Bates Motel or Poltergeist. They're all inspired from that reality. And you can visit my website at keytagsareus.com, like Toys R Us, but keytagsareus.com.